So you send a digital payment, right? You click send and you probably think it's all done. Just like that. Instant. But, the reality is a whole lot more interesting. We're going to follow the journey of a single Bitcoin transaction to see how it goes from just a click to becoming, well, rock solid, irreversible money. Okay, so picture this. You just got paid in Bitcoin. Awesome. You see the funds pop up in your wallet, but here's the big question, the one we're really digging into today. When is that money actually yours? Like truly 100% yours to spend without worrying. Let's dive in and find out. All right, our story kicks off with something super simple. Think of it as a digital handshake between two people. So, let's meet Alice and Bob. Alice owes Bob some money for his amazing podcasting work, so she creates a transaction and sends it out to the whole Bitcoin network. It's out there in the digital ether now. But, and this is super important, it's not settled, not even close. This is just step one. Okay, so for Bob's payment to really count, to become secure, it needs to get sealed up. Not in an envelope, of course, but inside something called a block. So what happens is, all over the world, you've got these super powerful computers. We call them miners. And they're all in this massive race. They're competing to solve a really complex math puzzle. It takes a ton of computing power. And the winner, the first one to solve it, gets a special job. They get to grab a bunch of recent transactions, including Alice's payment to Bob, bundle them all up into a new block, and then add that block to the public record, the blockchain. And when we say chain, we mean it. I mean, how long is this thing? Well, every single block is digitally linked to the one before it, all the way back. All the way back to the very first block ever created. That's called the Genesis block. It's this one, single, unbroken chain of financial history. Okay, so here's the most important analogy you need to remember. Once Alice's payment is inside that block, think of it like it's been set in wet cement. Yeah, it's recorded, it's there, but it isn't permanent yet. The cement is still soft. That means it's still technically possible for someone to mess with it, to change it. It would be hard, but not impossible. So this is where things get really cool. This is where the magic happens. That wet cement starts to harden, and it hardens through a process we call confirmations. This is exactly how Bob starts to feel confident that his money is actually safe. So how does the cement harden? It's all about these confirmations. It's pretty simple, really. Every time the network mines a new block and puts it right on top of the block with Alice's payment in it, bam, that's one confirmation. It's like adding another solid layer of security. And there we go, the first confirmation. A brand new block is sitting on top of ours. Our wet cement is already starting to set. Think about it. To undo Alice's payment now, an attacker would have to redo the work for her block and this new one. The difficulty, the cost of an attack, just doubled. So a little time goes by, the network just keeps chugging along. On average, a new block gets mined roughly every 10 minutes. So about 10 minutes or so after that first confirmation, odds are pretty good that, yep, another block has been stacked on top. Now we have two confirmations, and the security just took a huge leap forward. Bob's payment is now buried under 2 blocks. For an attacker to change it, they'd have to redo the work of 3 blocks, the original one plus the 2 on top, and do it faster than the entire global network. You can see how this is getting exponentially harder. You're probably seeing the pattern here, right? With every single block that gets piled on top, trying to reverse that original transaction gets harder and harder and harder. It takes more and more computing power. And for Bob, this is great news. His confidence that the money is his just keeps growing with every new confirmation. So the big question is, how many confirmations is enough? Is there a magic number where Bob can just kick back and say, yep, this money is mine? Well, funny you should ask. In the Bitcoin world, there kind of is. 6, that's the number. For years, 6 confirmations has been the industry standard, the rule of thumb. It's the point where most businesses, most exchanges will look at a transaction and say, okay, it's final. It's irreversible. And there's a really good reason for this. It's not that changing it is physically impossible, but it becomes, well, statistically impossible. An attacker would have to secretly redo the work of 7 blocks faster than the entire rest of the world can do the work for just 1. The amount of money and energy required for that is just, it's astronomical. It literally makes no economic sense to even try. So, after those 6 confirmations, our wet cement analogy is complete. The cement is now a rock solid. The money isn't just sitting in Bob's wallet anymore, it is his. It's final, it's secure, and he can go spend it knowing it's not going anywhere. But wait, the story doesn't just stop there. Because now that Bob's money is secure, he can do something really important with it. He can spend it. And this is how the chain of ownership keeps on going. See, because this whole thing is public, anyone, anywhere in the world can look at the blockchain and verify for themselves that Alice paid Bob and Bob is now the rightful owner. You don't need a bank to approve it. You don't need some central company to say it's okay. The proof is right there in the math. And what this creates is this beautiful, continuous, verifiable chain of who owns what. So maybe Joe paid Alice, then we saw Alice pay Bob, and now Bob, who knows his money is safe, can turn around and pay his web designer, Gopesh. The value just moves from person to person seamlessly and securely. And honestly, that is the real breakthrough. This whole journey we followed, from wet cement to rock solid, it creates something truly revolutionary. It's a system where we don't need to trust a bank or a government to tell us what's true. The trust is built right into the math, and it's open for all of us to see and verify. So let's recap real quick. A payment starts as a simple transaction. It gets scooped up into a block. That's our wet cement. Then it gets harder and more secure with every new block, every confirmation that gets stacked on top. And after about 6 confirmations, which takes roughly an hour, that payment is considered rock solid, secure. It's truly yours. And that leaves us with one last big idea to think about. We've just walked through how this whole process creates a secure, transparent, and verifiable history for money. So if we can do all that for something as simple as a payment, just imagine, what else could we secure with this kind of unbreakable chain of truth?